Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to Thirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam episode number 57. Till now, Thirukkolur Penpillai was comparing herself with the qualities or attributes of great saints, devotees, in a couple of instances, the Lord Himself. But this episode is an enchanting one because she is comparing herself with a small idol of Lord Krishna. How could she compare herself with the idol? What did the idol do? Or what qualities did the idol possess? We'll be seeing in this episode. Her Bhakti Rahasyam statement to Swami Ramanuja is, "Did I embrace like Selva Pillai?" Now Selva Pillai is the name of that idol. We will come to know more about it in a few minutes. Now another speciality of this episode, apart from Thirukkolur Penpillai comparing herself with this idol of Lord Krishna, is this episode is based on a direct incident from Swami Ramanuja's life. Yes, she was talking in front of Swami Ramanuja without realizing that he was the great saint himself. And on the top of it, she is now narrating a statement which involved this great saint directly. Now, if one recalls, in our previous episode, we saw that Thirukkolur Penpillai compared herself with the qualities possessed by Vaddanambi, who was one of the greatest disciples of Swami Ramanuja himself. So, from the last episode, Bhakti Rahasyam 56, Thirukkolur Penpillai has already started this trend of benchmarking herself with the contemporary saints of that era. Till then, she was drawing references to the Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Krishna Leela, etc. But now she has started the referencing with the saints and great people in her era itself. Now that's a great thing. Coming to this episode, some background about Swami Ramanuja's life history. He spent a major part of his lifespan in the temple town of Srirangam, where he was devoted to Lord Ranganatha. Now, by the turn of certain events, there comes a phase in his life where he has to quit Srirangam and has to search for some other place. Now, this was the divine will. The Lord had willed that Swami Ramanuja has to exit Srirangam so that he could shower his blessings. His fame should be spread far and wide. So, there were certain events in his life. He exits Srirangam for some period of time in his life, and he is on his way to a place in Karnataka. Now, Srirangam is in Tamil Nadu. He is moving away from Srirangam, going towards the west, and he comes to a place in Karnataka called Tondanur. Now, in Tondanur, he encounters a situation where he is short of the sacred clay paste which the Sri Vaishnavas apply. So, the sacred mark called Thiruman in Tamil, it represents the holy feet of Lord Vishnu. So, Swami Ramanuja and the Sri Vaishnavites in general, at all times they would be applying this Thiruman with vermilion mark. At that point in time, Swami Ramanuja, for performing his rituals, he found that the sacred clay paste was absent in that particular region. And a staunch devotee of the Lord, he couldn't go ahead without the Thiruman on his forehead. So he fervently prayed to the Lord as to where he could get this particular sacred paste. The Lord answers the call of his devotees, and Swami Ramanuja was a special devotee. He had Lord Vishnu in his heart, constantly remembering him, constantly chanting his names. So the Lord had to come to Swami Ramanuja. He appeared in his dream and he pointed to a hill lock. So that hill had this sacred paste which Swami Ramanuja was looking for, and there was a bumper gift as well. The Lord conveyed that in one of the pits in the hill lock, Swami Ramanuja would find an idol of Lord Narayana. Swami Ramanuja was happy, his prayer was answered. He quickly rushed on top of that hill. He could find his sacred clay paste for the Thiruman, and as mentioned by the Lord, he also found a very ancient idol of Lord Vishnu which went by the name Lord Tirunarayanan. Now this Lord Tirunarayanan was very ancient, which means he was worshipped right from the age of Krita Yuga. As we know, there are 4 ages: Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. So this particular Tirunarayanan idol was worshipped even by Lord Rama in the past, by Lord Krishna. So this was very significant for Swami Ramanuja. According to the divine instructions, he takes the idol out from the pit and he establishes that idol in a temple on the hill lock, which is even today called as Tirunarayanan Temple. And this place was earlier called Tirunarayanapuram. Today it is well known by the name Melkote, which is close to 2 hours drive from Bangalore. So Swami Ramanuja started performing worship for this Tirunarayanan deity on the hillocks of Melkote. His disciples joined him. They were happy. Now, some disciples expressed their interest that they should start some festivals in and around the temple. Now, again, if we recall from Vadaganambi's episode, there is a main deity in the temple. There is also a festive deity which tours from place to place. The main objective is the Lord himself goes from one house to another, so that people who are not able to come out of their house, who are not able to take his darshan in the temple, the Lord comes and gives them his darshan. Now, for the festivals to start, there was a need for a festive deity. Swami Ramanuja had just located the main deity from the hillock. So there was no festive deity to be located nearby. So some disciples gave a suggestion to Swami Ramanuja to prepare a new festive deity. To this, Swami Ramanuja objected. He felt that if the main deity was itself newly made or newly constructed, it was possible for us to make a fresh festive deity. But then this was an ancient temple. It had a very big history to it. The lords in their avatars had worshipped this main deity, so there has to be a festive deity which is located somewhere, and we should be able to locate it. Now all the disciples prayed to Swami Ramanuja because this was an impossible task. He was talking about locating a deity in the huge lands of Bharatavarsha was no joke. So Swami Ramanuja, he started fervently praying to the Lord that there has to be a festive deity which has to be existing, and it is somewhere. So, oh Lord, show me the place where I can come and find you. This was a true prayer of a true devotee. The Lord has to budge. He again appears in Swami Ramanuja's dreams and he says, well, the festive deity which you are looking for goes by the name Ramapriya, because this festive deity was worshipped by Lord Rama himself. And now the Lord says, I am in the custody of the ruler of Delhi. So you can go and claim me from Delhi. Now, though Swami Ramanuja was encouraged by this, he had to start a trip from Bangalore to Delhi. And it was no mean feat, because there were no transport facilities in those days. And Swami Ramanuja had already spent almost 25 years of his life touring various divine places, right from the south to the north of Bharatavarsha and from the east to the west. Now he had to start a tour again from Bangalore to Delhi. But these events, they may appearing daunting to us people who are used to comforts and luxuries of life. For the great Mahatmas, the great saints like Ramanuja, it was God's will and it had to be fulfilled at any cost. With that in mind, with the Lord in mind, with his holy names on his lips, he starts this trip from Bangalore to Delhi. On reaching Delhi, he approaches the ruler there. He explains that one of his idols is in his custody. The ruler is surprised. He has many such idols which he has taken custody of. Now he is saying, how is it possible to locate that particular idol which you are trying to find? Swami Ramanuja asks the ruler to lead him to the place where the idols are stored. When the ruler leads him to that place, Swami Ramanuja tries to locate it, but from the huge quantities of idols there, he is not able to find his Ramapriya. He again prays to the Lord. He asks the ruler that he wants the permission to stay for the night there, because he couldn't locate the idol which he was looking for. The ruler obliges. That night, the Lord comes in Swami Ramanuja's dreams and he discloses the actual location. He says he is with the princess in the princess chambers. Now, those are the divine leelas or pastimes of the Lord. The next morning, Swami Ramanuja approaches the ruler and he says that he had this divine dream where he came to know that his idol was in the princess chambers. Now they approach the chambers from the outside. Swami Ramanuja can see the idol Ramapriya was lying next to the princess. The princess had a special attraction for Ramapriya, and she used to play, and she always used to spend all her time with Ramapriya. In a way, this idol was the life for her. Now, Swami Ramanuja knew this. He, from the window, he could see the idol, and he lets out a prayer. He says, "O Selva Pillai, won't you come to me?" The moment he utters this, the idol, it jumps step by step and it lands on Swami Ramanuja's lap, and it embraces Swami Ramanuja. To the others, they could see it was the idol jumping, but Swami Ramanuja could actually see Ramapriya. He fondly calls it Selva Pillai, which means "O child." So he gets an embrace of the Lord. He takes Ramapriya, or Selva Pillai as he has gave a new name to this Lord, with him hurriedly, knowing very well that once the princess wake up, she is going to come looking for this idol. The ruler of Delhi is surprised. He has not seen any feat like this, but it was very difficult for him to accept something like this in the devotional space, but still he had witnessed it. He lets Ramanuja leave with the idol. Now, the moment the princess woke up, she came to know the entire episode, and she starts chasing this group who has left from Delhi to Bangalore. She catches up with Swami Ramanuja, and she immediately realizes that he is a great saint for whom this idol, with whom she played, with whom she considered her life, it went away with this saint without giving any notice to the princess. So she realizes the greatness of this sage, and she asks for a favor, that she also should join them to Melkote, because she cannot live without this idol. So just a little deviation from the story. Out of love for this particular idol, the princess actually gives up her life, and she is merged into this Selva Pillai, who is none other than the festive deity at Melkote. So even today, there is an idol for this princess at Melkote along with Selva Pillai. So that's the enchanting story of Selva Pillai and how he came along with Swami Ramanuja. Now, coming back to Thirukkolur Penpillai, she is mesmerized by this entire story. What to talk of in this story about the Lord's love for his devotee Swami Ramanuja, Swami Ramanuja's unending devotion for the Lord. So she just says, did I embrace or hug like Selva Pillai? So that was the Bhakti Rahasyam for today, which mainly talks about Swami Ramanuja's efforts in bringing this festive deity Selva Pillai from Delhi to Melkote near Bangalore, and in that process Lord Krishna, that is this Selva Pillai, had a new friend in the princess of Delhi. So Thirukkolur Penpillai is enchanted by this devotion of Swami Ramanuja. She could have framed her Bhakti Rahasyam as, did I fetch Selva Pillai like Swami Ramanuja? But for whatever reason, her Bhakti Rahasyam goes as, did I embrace or hug like Selva Pillai, the other way round. So that was the Bhakti Rahasyam today. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.